Hello everyone and welcome to our latest Your Wellbeing Matters podcast. My name's Emma Winter. I'm the Staff Experience and Engagement Advisor here at Oxley's. I'm joined by Clare.
Hi everyone, I'm Clare Denny. I'm the Recruitment and Retention Resource and Officer for Kent Prisons, Staff Wellbeing Champion and also the Chair of the South East Prisons Staff Assembly.
Lots of roles.
Lots going on.
So thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
So this week we're going to be kickstarting our Trust-wide Wellbeing Week. Let's get ready to summer. Let's get ready to summer.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, and we just need the weather on our side now, so hopefully the sun will shine for us. So we're going to be talking about lots of things this week to do with summer wellbeing and how we can look after our staff, make sure that they're happy and healthy over the summer period. So there's lots of resources coming out this week and lots of activities going on. Some of the main sort of focus areas we want to talk about are things like healthy eating, how to stay hydrated at work, protecting your skin. I know a big conversation with colleagues has been around hay fever symptoms and things like that and how to deal with those. We also want to talk about sleep hygiene in the summer because the heat can affect things like that. But we also want to talk about taking things outside, so making sure that you, where possible, can have rest breaks outside, even meetings, walking meetings, team meetings, utilise those outdoor spaces. But we also want to be covering things about the SAD disorder. So that's seasonal affective disorder. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
So I think most people associate that with the winter, but we're going to be covering about what those triggers are during the summer.
Yep.
So Claire, first of all, let's talk about healthy eating.
Yeah, definitely. I think healthy eating always comes a little bit more natural to most of us in the summer. I think you're more likely to go to the fridge and take some nice fruit, something a bit cooler than rather going to the chocolate biscuits or even chocolate itself in the summer is not very nice when it's melted. So I do find healthy eating a little bit easier personally in summer. One of the main things I like as well is trying different salads. I love to kind of come into work and different people have different items in their salads. Pomegranate seeds is quite a funky one that I've tried in the past. So I do find healthy eating to be a little bit easier in the summer. So hopefully that's going to be a little bit easier to go forward now with the healthy eating.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And I think it's, that thing about, having a cup of tea or a biscuit. But in the summer, it might be you go to the fridge and grab a cold drink, or like your cold strawberries, cold fruit. People go strawberry picking in the summer, so you're actually using it as a bit of an activity as well. So definitely we'll be sending out lots of things about healthy eating this week. Be involved, share recipes, and we'll be talking about a competition we're holding this week as well, a bit later on. So next we're also going to talk about this week is taking it outside. So making sure that you're taking some time out in the fresh air. Is that something you would recommend to colleagues in your role?
Definitely. So within the prison environments as well, and I know some of the wards and the hospitals that we work in, sometimes the areas that we have might not even have access to windows. So definitely making it a conscious effort to think about getting up and walking outside, even into a new environment for some fresh air, different kind of piece of scenery.
Absolutely, yeah.
So really looking forward to kind of making sure I'm having those in my wellbeing talks with staff about and reminding them to get some fresh air.
Yeah, and we've got the picnic blankets coming out as well.
Yeah, looking forward to using those, definitely.
Yeah, we encourage you to plan those in with teams and enjoy the weather if it comes. But I think we're looking good for this week already. The other thing we were going to touch on was sort of sleep hygiene and, how it sort of affects our sleep during the summer. What sort of essentials would you say you have in place to cope with that?
So I think sleep hygiene is something that obviously staff are kind of probably aware of all year round, but in summer it kind of gets a bit worse with regards to heat and how that can manage our sleep a little bit worse. So I always make sure to have a lighter duvet, make sure I've got my summer duvet out ready for the heat to come. Fans, I think last year or the year before there was quite a shortage of fans in the shops.
Yes, I think we had that trouble as well.
So make sure you've got a good fan ready to go and don't have to rush around trying to find one. Always have access to water near to your bedside table. And maybe keeping the windows open as well at night time. Just try your best to kind of get a good night's sleep.
Yeah, and I think it's really important as well to make sure you have that sort of routine because, when the heat's here, routines can go a bit out the window. It's hard to sort of get comfortable in things, but try and stick to those patterns and sleep patterns will help. And we'll be signposting staff to a lot more information about that this week. The other thing I want to touch on was around we touched on hydration and water. So making sure you've got things in place for that during your working day. dysentery, but also protection of skin, and hay fever is a big topic that's been happening.
Yeah, I thought I got away with it. I haven't really had any hay fever symptoms throughout my life until probably the beginning of this year, actually, when I started to notice some hay fever symptoms. And it's only kind of when you're in the office, really, and you start to say these things are popping up, and oh, it probably could be hay fever. I'm like, oh no, I hope not.
Yeah, it's quite a good conversation.
Yeah.
You get lots of tips and ideas.
Exactly. I think one of the best tips that I've got is the hay fever wipes.
Oh yes, the handy packs.
Yeah, I found them really helpful. I think it's just to have them in the car when you've kind of come back from walking somewhere and perhaps you might feel a bit of pollen on your face, just give them a bit of a wipe off.
Yeah.
But yeah, just dealing with those symptoms and having those conversations within the teams to see what other people are doing, really, to deal with them.
Yeah, and I think, one of the things about the hydration side of things, I'm guilty of it. I come in, have my first drink of the day, and then it can be hours until I've actually had another drink. So, it's really important that, you're helping yourself, helping colleagues to make sure they're hydrated, access to water, make sure you're filling up your bottles if you're going off site and having that in the car and things like that. So it's just making sure you have those, that sort of thing in place. Okay, the other thing we were going to talk about is SAD disorder, so seasonal affective disorder. So a lot of people associate this with January. So, the shorter days, the darker nights, we've just had the Christmas period where sometimes financial challenges are there. Weight things as well, people sometimes like to indulge over Christmas and the festive period. So, there's those body image sort of, everyone's a bit more conscious about that sort of thing. But actually, those are triggers in the summer too. You have things like where people are wearing different clothes because of the heat. People are worried about what they're wearing and their body image. You have the financial challenges as well. So people worry about paying out for holidays. You've got things like childcare arrangements change. I think over the summer routines can really disrupt things. So that's a bit of a trigger for people as well.
I think annual leave as well.
Yes.
One of the main things for summer periods, a lot of people go away on annual leave, and that can affect some of our teams in all different ways, really. I think on a personal level, when you go on annual leave, sometimes in the summer months, you might take a little bit longer. So perhaps 2 weeks annual leave, and then the thought of coming back to all those emails that you're going to have sitting there waiting for you. So that can sometimes play a bit of part in our well-being and how we think about it during our annual leave. And I suppose another part of it as well, within August, you kind of think we're going to have less staff on the ground. How is that going to affect our patients? How's it going to affect team morale? Perhaps we might have to have staff that we're not used to working with. So it's a bit of changes going on, which are always quite hard. So I suppose that all plays into it as well, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really an important point to make. I think people worry about the workload before they go and when they're back, and the consistency of patient care and things like that. But also the morale, if there's people that aren't going away, and other people are going off, you sort of think, oh, I'm here and I'm doing, I'm on the shift and I'm doing the work. So I think it's really important at that time is to be there for each other, listen out, make sure you're checking in with staff as well. So that I think that's a really important point to make. So, we're here for you. This week, we're going to be talking lots about those sort of resources and signposting you to lots of things that are going to help you with that over the summer. So this week we're going to be coming around and doing wellbeing check-ins. So the champions are going to be out. Myself, Claire, will be out talking to people in their lovely T-shirts, our lovely Wellbeing Matters T-shirts. Basically checking in with staff, taking your feedback, telling us how we can improve in terms of the staff wellbeing agenda and what we can do better. We'll be coming around with some shareable goodies as well. We're hoping to come out with some fresh fruit deliveries and some other things for your teams to enjoy and share. We're also going to be signposting you to lots of resources and hubs. We've got some wellbeing activities coming and we've got a competition as well that we're going to be talking about. So with that, Claire, what are you kind of most looking forward to about Wellbeing Week?
Okay, so this one, I think I'm really looking forward to getting out with staff in the open areas. I know as part of, I think we mentioned it earlier, the picnic blankets as part of the shareable goodies. So I think having them and being able to go out into some of our outdoor areas, sit down with staff, network, have those wellbeing conversations, and hopefully have a bit of sun on our backs as well. So I'm really looking forward to that, actually.
Yeah, and the picnic blankets as well. If that's something that your team want to organise, just get in touch with your local wellbeing champion and they'll be able to arrange that picnic blanket for you as well. So have you got sort of any summer plans, or how do you kind of look after your, enhance your summer well-being over the summer period?
So a few summer plans. We've got a dog in our family, so we like to try and get away for some staycations. So making sure we're packing the essentials. Sun cream is a big thing for me. So making sure I've got plenty of sun cream, maybe even a nice hat to make sure I'm shaded from the sun. Also making sure that our family member, our little pet dog, is kept nice and cool in the sun as well. So I like to make sure we think about him, maybe take like a cooling mat, access to fresh water, and not leaving him in the car at any time. Also making sure I stick to my hydration water as well. So in and out of work, because I'm quite good at doing it when I'm at work. I'm quite structured when I'm at work, having my bottle of water with me, and then on days off or when I'm out and about on the weekend, it tends to slip a little bit. So that's probably the key things that I'm going to be thinking about this summer.
Yeah, and I think it's really important to sort of just have those essentials with you. So you have, your sunglasses, fans in the bag, different factors of sun lotion for different members of the family and things like that. I think that's really important as well. And I think, staycations as well. That's something we're going to be looking at, days out locally and things like definitely. That. So, it's all to be enjoyed there, isn't it? Using your outdoor spaces, using the summer to get outdoors and refresh. And I think one of the other things is, when I'm outside and perhaps going for a walk without any technology or a phone as well, it really makes a difference. I feel more productive because I've got no distractions. I have no children around me, colleagues or technology, and actually I come and think about ideas. So I know sometimes it's easier said than done, but really try and give yourself that 5 minutes to just get outside and get some fresh air, just to regather your thoughts and things like that. So that's a really important part there. So in terms of resources this week, what do you sort of go to, Claire, in terms of wellbeing resources at work?
I think the Wellbeing Hub is something that I probably use the most regular when I'm meeting with staff, or if people are emailing me, asking me any questions. So signposting staff to the Hub is probably the most useful resource that I have, because it's always updated. It's something that staff can access at their own time. The QR code that we have now is available, so you can even scan it when you're at home on your phone. You haven't always got to be logged on to an Oxley site. It's just a kind of mammoth information. So I think sometimes having staff go away and use it at their own time, because it's quite a lot of information to be looking at, is really beneficial for them.
Yeah, and it's got so much on there. It covers things like financial well-being, so looking at the summer period, and things like childcare arrangements. Blue light card is a popular one, so looking at your discounts and stuff over the summer. You've got physical well-being, so outdoor gyms is free walking the dog, like you just said, but also mental well-being, so things like signposting you to our EAP service, our programs, and those sort of well-being platforms that you can use for self-care. So thank you, that's a really really good one, and it's all in one place. So what I'd like to come to now is the competition. So we are launching a competition this week for Wellbeing Week, and we want to hear about your favourite or your best secret smoothie recipes, and you could be in with a chance of winning a portable USB smoothie blender. So, Claire, have you had any ideas or recipes that you think you might enter?
I'm really trying to think of a really kind of out there one, because I'd love to win that Ninja USB one. It's a very good piece of equipment.
It's really good on the go.
Really helpful to have. So I've been thinking maybe about a non-alcoholic pina colada or some sort of nice refreshing one like that.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, I think I'm thinking about mixing it up a bit and putting fruit and veg in there, and maybe putting a recipe across. So, if you're up for that, please send in your recipes and some photos of your smoothies to the communications inbox, and the closing date is the 22nd of July.
Plenty of time.
Yes, exactly, and look out for that on the Ox and more information. But I'd just like to thank you, Claire, for joining us today and covering off all these wellbeing topics for summer, and I just want to say thank you for joining us, and thank you to everyone, not just the champions but all of our other wellbeing advocates across the trust, and all of you play a part in making sure that Oxley's is a great place to work, and that wellbeing is a priority for all of our staff. But thank you for joining us, and thank you, Claire.
Let's get ready for summer.
Enjoy the summer. Enjoy Wellbeing Week. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.